Take the case of Love Today, how innovative and creative it was. He made sure every single second of the movie count to make something unique.
Natikadadi.
With Kishkinda Kandam, I was emotionally into the whole thing. I felt very connected to the whole thing, right? In Echo, I felt a little aloof.
And one song which I keep on listening and which pushing me to be daring or to try to do daring thing is Tirda Tirda and Ti Ti Tiganti song.
Yeah.
And also how Tallipoga the song was used in AYM. That was Gooseflesh. So Prestige is my all-time favorite movie.
That is my favorite Christopher Nolan film, and like you say, one of my all-time favorite films. Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
And then I wrote Kochi evening 5 p.m. And then I start thinking, okay, what can happen in Kochi right now? Suppose or idea thonisina execute panna, maybe everything will manifest. Sometimes protection and restriction, they both look the same.
Yeah.
That was the line which came to my mind. I don't know how and why, but that line hit me so randomly. Once you found a whole story or a one line or scene order, then I feel it's more like a clerical job. When I narrate a thought or a story to you, you can say two things. Either you can say it's not good, try something else. Then I will get demotivated. And the second condition may be you suggest a lot of ideas to me.
Echo is actually a feminist drama. Would you agree with that?
I agree, definitely.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
MCR Pure Cotton Club, formals and casual shirts.
No compromise. உங்க சைடுலயும் எங்க சைடுலயும். It's a GT promise.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Hello, Bahul Ramesh. Welcome to Galata Plus. Very happy to have you.
Hi sir, pleasure.
You're the writer that everybody is talking about. First, we discovered you in Kishkinda Kandam, and then there was Kerala Crime Files, and now Echo. So, you started writing short stories.
Yeah.
What were those stories like? Were there mystery stories or general stories?
General stories.
Okay.
Because I didn't write it for time pass, the short stories. I wrote it only for competitions.
Okay.
So, was always trying to impress the judges to show off our intellects and all. So, that was the short story writing process.
Like, can you give me an example of a short story that you wrote? Like, just a brief outline.
Don't remember the exact story, but something about a novel writer or something. Some matured characters, all of them were above 50s.
Okay.
And when I wrote this, I was only 12 or 13.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember the context of the story, but that was how I tried to impress the judges.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did you watch a lot of movies while you were growing up?
A lot.
Lot.
In TV.
On TV?
Not world movies. I mean, I'm not that much exposed to world movies then and even now also. So I used to watch regional movies.
Okay.
Malayalam, all of the Malayalam movies and Tamil movies on TV, KTV.
Okay. So, when you watch the movie, would you like watch it as a whole, like an audience, or after a point did you start to notice the writing or something like that, the direction or the acting or something specific?
I don't remember it that way. I just enjoy it as an audience.
Okay.
Yeah. And the passion for cinema, it came much later, when I was studying in 8th or 9th.
Okay.
That was the time when I decided to go into cinema.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 8th standard?
8th or 9th, somewhere around, in high school.
Okay. And then you knew that you were going to be in cinema?
No, I wasn't confident, but that was my I wish to get there.
Okay.
In writing or direction, but I didn't know how. I didn't have any contacts also, but
Okay.
I decided.
But something makes us say, I will be good at this thing, right? What made you say that I think I will be a good writer? What gave you that belief or confidence?
I think the way my parents supported me. I was never confident about what I could do or I can do this in a good way. I never thought it that way. I always used to follow my intuitions, and one random moment I would say to my parents, I want to do this, I want to try this. They will say, okay, go ahead. So I wasn't having any performance pressure or something.
Okay.
Okay, even if it didn't work out, okay, I will change the route and try something else, pursue something else.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that.
So, in your opinion, what is a good screenplay? I'll give you a context. The year Kishkinda Kandam was released, Manumal Boys won for Best Screenplay at the Kerala State Awards. And Dinjith kind of was a little open about the fact that he felt Kishkinda Kandam, he said, there's no problem with Manumal Boys, but I would have liked it if Kishkinda Kandam had won. What do you think? Have you asked him why he said that?
No, I haven't asked.
You haven't asked him.
Yeah.
Okay, but what do you think is a good screenplay?
I can't generalize that,
Generalize,
but
yeah,
my opinion about like generic ஆவாது இருந்தா எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் பெட்டரா பிடிக்கும். So I'm not that much impressed with generic template-ish screenplays.
Okay.
With generic dialogues and all.
Okay.
So that's even if a movie is so slow, I won't get bored.
Okay.
But if a movie is so generic in terms of scene staging, scene placement, scene orders, or even dialogues, that's a big turn off for me. That always has to be a big turn off for me.
Okay.
So my preference of a good script is like it shouldn't be generic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a good script is something.
And that idea of that generic, the term generic came from you actually. There are two reviews which I admire a lot. One is you and one is Ashwin Baradwaj, critic lensman. So 10 or 12 years back when I started reading the reviews, the film critic reviews and all, and you both were I frequently used to check your reviews, and in most of the write-ups you were commenting about the impression you got while watching something which is not generic, and the criticism you gave for something which is generic. It could be different, something like that. I mean, your opinions.
Yeah.
So somehow that ideas got imprinted in mind. Like these guys are impressed when there is less generic elements in a movie. So that was the point. Like it got into my mind, and when I want to try something, I try to be stay away from generic or template-ish ideas as much as possible. I don't know how much I can succeed, but I try to be away from the generics.
Right. I mean, thank you. But I'll tell you one difference between critics and audience, right? Because critics watch many movies, right? So when something is the same template, after a time you get bored because, okay, hero introduction song, then something else, then fight, then song, the romantic heroine introduction. That becomes, after a point, you're like, because now today you have so many choices, no? It's like I can watch so many things, and I'm not saying that you have to make something very complicated. No, but even if you're telling a regular good guy bad guy story, what is the difference you're bringing to the story?
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, why am I talking to Bahul Ramesh, right? Because he has done something specific, not generic. Because he has done Kishkinda Kandam and the feature films Kishkinda Kandam and Echo. So I'm talking to you. If that is the specific thing, right? Why are you celebrated today? Because you did something that is standing out from what the crowd is. That is why I think we like the non-generic thing. So that template-ish, if you had written, I'm not saying template is wrong, because at the end of the day, cinema is a business.
Yeah.
So if somebody is casting a big star, they might say, okay, let us play safe. Let us not go with a template or something like that. But I think that's, if I have played a small part in your thinking like this, I'm very happy. I also want the royalty checks. So that is like a thing. But
even that whenever a filmmaker takes such an approach, it inspires you a lot. Like filmmakers or even my friends who aspire to be filmmakers or already in films, when they are talking about love stories or romantic movies or rom-com movies, they usually take it as an excuse. Like love stories are always cliche or cheesy.
Yeah.
They find it as an excuse so that they can try in the same way.
Yeah.
But take the case of Love Today, how innovative and creative it was.
Yeah.
That really inspired me.
Oh, the
Love
Tamil
Today.
film, right? Yeah,
Love Today.
yeah.
That really inspired me. That inspired me is that daring call of the director and who acted as well. And he made sure every single second of the movie count to make something unique and innovative.
Right.
He didn't spare even a second. Even if he get a couple of seconds there, he will fill it with some flashy montage or VFX which add to the humor or which add to the plot. So that always inspires me. Whenever someone try, even if
Yeah.
it's not successful, whenever try something daringly, that inspires you a lot.
Yeah. I think
And that in your interviews also, not like your comments on the generic things on your reviews. Apart from that, whenever you do an interview, your questions are not generic.
again, I think that comes from a fear because there's a fear that are you doing something which everybody else is doing?
Yeah.
You know, that you don't want to do that. You're just like, will everybody say, oh, this is a boring interview, this is like a thing. And I also think it comes from curiosity. Like this next question, okay, I'm going to give you a scenario, okay? Because both your screenplays, we'll talk mainly about the two films, right? Kishkinda Kandam and Echo. Now, both your screenplays, one of the things that has struck a lot of people is they are minimalistic, right? You're only telling little bits of information and taking the movie forward, and you don't explain fully. A lot of the things you say the character knows, but the audience does not know, or maybe even Bahul Ramesh does not know.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. Like at the end of Kishkinda Kandam, did Appu Pillai kill the grandson? Nobody knows. Do you know? You don't know
about it. Yeah.
Only he knows. Yeah. Only that character knows.
I only know whatever is in the movie.
It's in the movie. So at the end, it's a mystery. Whether that happened only, it's a mystery. He may have done it. Maybe Asif Ali did it. Maybe you don't know what happened at that thing. You just present around it, right? I'm giving you two scenarios from a story that I think everybody knows. Right? Take Ramayana. There is a part where Dasharatha tells Rama, you have to go to the forest for 14 years. Right?
Yeah.
We'll consider two options. One is Dasharatha tells Rama, go to the forest for 14 years. That is all the audience knows. Rama says, okay, dad, goes. Second option is like how the story is, which is long back, Kaikeyi got boon from Dasharatha saying, I will give you whatever you want. She says, I'll ask you later. But now she's scared that the kingdom will go to Rama and not to her son Bharata. So she says, because of this, I want you to send him to the forest. So by giving that backstory, you are establishing Kaikeyi as not exactly a wicked person, but somebody a mother who wants something for her son. You're establishing Dasharatha as a helpless person because he has promised this lady something and he cannot go back on that promise because he's a king. So there is a emotional connect that the second version has that the first version does not have. Both are valid. Nothing is right or wrong, right? I want you to comment on both these.
I think the conflict or dilemma, I also like the second version because it has more dilemmas and conflicts in that.
Right.
That adds the flesh, the meat.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's very one-dimensional.
Okay.
So when we have a backstory like this, we have moral conflicts or dilemmas. That makes the whole setup three-dimensional, more backstory, more voids where we can put our own thoughts into and fill it up. So I think I believe that's how the content grows in the audience mind. When we give abstract information, so abstract anecdotes or trivias, people tend to fill it with their own perspectives and visions and all. See, I'm only 32 years old, so when I write something with my intended, I mean the intention, when someone at the age of 50 watches my movie with all his life experiences, all his perspectives and all, he may have another set of takeaways from the movie. He may have another range of interpretations on the movie. But I think that's how the content can grow more than what I intended to portray or something. I'll give you an example. When I I read a novel called Parinamam in Malayalam. Parinam, it's Parinam, written by M.B. Naranapillai. It's my all-time favorite novel and my favorite writer too. So I read it in 2016 or 17 something. And I read it as an espionage thriller, a spy thriller. Like it was very serious, very engaging, and it was written in 1989. And it covered a series of events from early 70s to up to 90s. Okay, so I enjoyed it as a spy thriller, and then I suggested it to my father, and he read it. We were both at home those days, and while he was reading, he was frequently laughing. So I couldn't understand why he's laughing, because I couldn't. Then after reading, he enjoyed it a lot, and I asked, and why were you laughing? And he said it's super sarcastic. It were all, satire. It was social satire about the politics of that era between 70s and 80s, those emergency period, the politics, the society and all. So he had an experience of all. He was born in 1963, so he was a first-hand witness of all those political turmoils, all those political issues back then. I hadn't have any idea about those things. So I enjoyed the novel as a spy thriller, but my father enjoyed it as a comedy satire, a social satire. So we were both happy in our own ways.
Yeah.
So I think that you got what I'm trying to communicate.
Everybody looks at it differently. So you want to create screenplays which give breathing space so that I can enter the story and take maybe one dimension from it. Somebody else who's younger than me can enter the story and take one dimension from it. Somebody else who's older than me can enter that story and take one dimension from it. Fully agreed, right? And let me tell you where I'm coming from. I really like Kishkinda Kandam and Eco, right? Both are brilliant. Screenplays, both are brilliant, right? But with Kishkinda Kandam, I was emotionally into the whole thing. I felt very connected to the whole thing, right? In Echo, I felt a little aloof.
Okay.
That's the only difference between the two. But I think both are brilliant screenplays. So I'm interested in knowing your process of writing. So it's like my brain is saying Echo is a very clever movie, very, very cleverly constructed. How this reveal comes now, the reveal about Pius comes now, the reveal about thing, and finally one reveal happens, which kind of thing. Very clever. But same thing, I'm looking at Kishkinda Kandam, very clever. But in Kishkinda Kandam, when that end happens, I'm like, oh my God, that amazing, because it's like kind of a thing. I think it also helped that a character from within the family was solving the mystery. Apana Balamurali she was the detective in that story, the detective equivalent of the story. Here, there is that character is not there. The audiences are the detective. The audience is the detective. So you are presenting information to us, right? So I think there was a bit of things. I want to ask you one thing. You just said that the second version of that Ramayana that I said, where the Kaikeyi flashback and all is shown, deepens that emotion,
drama,
right? Yeah. Supposing now you show the Asif Ali and Aparna Balamurali, they are already married at the beginning of the movie. What if you give a little backstory about how they decided to marry, where they met or whatever it is. I'm not asking for like a long love story, but little more details about, because she's a second wife, she's come to a new family. Maybe we're a little curious. Like when you're traveling in a train, you listen to the person who's talking next to you, not because but it comes to you. You're always curious. Why do you say, I don't want to show that backstory?
எதுக்கும் எந்த பேக் ஸ்டோரி நான் டெவலப்பே பண்ணல. Like I just went with the flow, with intuitions. That's the way I used to write. Like I won't try to create a whole story in my mind, or one line or a scene, or nothing will be there. I just start with scene one, from whatever details are available based on conversation or the details in scene one, I move on to scene two, and this process goes on and on. So
So you don't do scene outline?
No.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
No, I won't have any idea about the story.
Okay. So when you started Kishkinda Kandam, sorry to interrupt your flow, but when you start, so because you're saying scene one, what was scene one in Kishkinda Kandam?
Okay, the initial idea of Kishkinda Kandam was, it's about a character, an aged man who is having dementia issues or memory issues, and he's introspective about himself. Like, I know that I have memory issues. What if I mean, had I done any mistakes that I forgot? So he set out on a journey to investigate about himself. That was the one line idea he had in mind. And when I sat down to write, I didn't have any scene in my mind, and it was a couple of weeks back only I got to know from my father that during elections we have to if we have a firearm with us, we have to surrender to the police station. It's part of the election protocol. That was a trivial piece of information for me. I didn't know about those things. So I thought, okay, that's a curious piece of information. Let me try to add that curious piece of information to the scene. And I started writing scene 1 in a police station where some random guy come to the police station to surrender the firearm. So I had no idea how to connect this with the main plot. So while developing towards the end, and that random guy goes and when the police officers interact with each other, one guy tells there's one more left in this jurisdiction to surrender his firearm. Who is that? That guy is Appubulla. So that was how Appubulla came to the plot, even that name. So then now the police officers have to contact this Appubulla. Why didn't you surrender the firearm? So the second scene have to be something. So then I thought, okay, in the first scene we talked about Appubulla. Let me not show Appubulla in this scene itself. Let me show someone else. Who can I show? Okay, let me show his son. And where can I place his son right now? So in placing him it's a working day, it's a daytime. So placing him in his office is again generic, doesn't add anything to that. So I thought, okay, let me try to add some intrigue. What if he is in middle of his marriage and his father is not part of the event also? So it has to be a registered marriage. So I didn't have any idea why it is placed like that. Why it is a registered marriage? I didn't felt it necessary to develop all those things right then itself. I just went with the flow. So that adds a drama. Right, when they are about to get married, he gets a call from the police station asking about his father, or we are not trying to contact your father. And in that moment itself, he is telling his bride to be, let me answer this call. It's a call from police station. So then that girl also will get nervous. No, what at this moment has happened, like that. So that all adds to this dilemma or conflict or drama in a slight way. So that keep building that layers and building blocks. From that only, I am also getting new ideas or new routes where I can take this narrative. So I was telling Manish Narayanan the last day, usually it is written as story, screenplay, dialogues. My version is I write the dialogues first. The conversation lead me to a screenplay structure, and at the end only, even I got to realize, oh, so this is the story. Okay. So Kishkinda's climax are all formed at that moment only, during the climax only.
Okay.
So even in the climax, I won't focus. I won't aim at creating suspenses or twist or shocks. Or I just want to create enough dilemmas or conflicts. So in the last 15 minutes of Kishkinda Kandam, the plot is already unraveled. Like the father is going through these kind of issues, and son had this tragedy and all. So when Asif Ali went to the hospital with his first wife, and when he's come back, the plot is already all exposed. Then I was thinking, now what can I add more? How can I go a little furthermore? So that was when I thought, okay, let him open the door, and boom, the body is not there. So what should he do now? Whom should he ask? And even if he have to ask his father, what exactly should he ask? How to phrase that? That it's a weird and absurd question of a lifetime. How can somebody ask something? Did you find my son's dead body? It's such a weird question. So you can't ask that. And also, provided his father, he knows that his father is having these dementia issues and all, and he might be thinking, what if my father doesn't know about it, or even if he knew and then now he forgot it totally. So if I go to ask him now, he will get aware of it. So what stand should I take? How to deal with this situation? It's such a bizarre situation. All those dilemmas I like to try it out.
This is beautiful, because what you're saying, if I'm understanding this right, is just like the audience does not know the story or cannot predict the story, you as a writer even you cannot,
Yeah.
you don't have an end goal.
You know.
So you don't know, as you're writing, you only know what is happening at that moment.
yes.
You don't know what is happening
No.
like 5
My
scenes.
fun is in that, to discover where this narrative is heading,
Yeah.
where this narrative is going.
Yeah.
And whenever I want to take a break, I take a break. Take a break in the sense, when I was writing Kerala Crime Files season 2, I wrote a few scenes with the police station premises and the buildings and all. And I thought, okay, I have been dealing with these interior scenes a lot. Okay, let me take a break, let me go out. That's how I had a scene with somebody washing his car in a stream-like area, like more trees and all. So that was evidently I was taking a break.
Okay.
So whenever in Kerala Crime Files, the story is set across multiple districts, Trivandrum, Ernakulam and all. So I had 5 or 6 scenes continuously in Trivandrum. And I will take a break. Okay, let me go somewhere else. Okay, let's go to Kochi. So that comes first. And then I wrote Kochi evening 5 p.m. And then I start thinking, okay, what can happen in Kochi right now? So it's very spontaneous, intuition driven, and I feel confident to follow the intuitions. Like even if it's not, I'm not bothered about it's good or bad, just to follow the fun, not to be bothered about how it is going to be received or something. That we can correct it later. No?
Yeah.
So right now on the go, just enjoy the process. Just try whatever you want. And this okay, you haven't watched Kerala Crime Files. No, there is one. Maybe some of the viewers might have watched.
Yeah, please.
There is one scene in the 4th episode where it's a reverse tracking sequence. We called it that way. It's like the police officers are tracking a stray dog, where that stray dog came from. So that idea, my writing process is like it's like an office duty. I sit down to write at 10 a.m. and wind up by 5 p.m.
That's every day.
That's every day and continuous only. I won't take break and all. I will be at home only.
You'll take a lunch break or something.
Lunch break. My parents will come to call me. So 5 p.m. I will take a break, and then that particular sequence I slept. Okay, and at somewhere around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. this idea struck me. And immediately at that moment, I thought, what if, நாளைக்கு காலையில் இருந்துச்சுன்னா, suppose what if I forget this. So அது மறந்துறதுக்கு முன்னே I wanted to put it down on the paper. So I sat down, I took up the laptop and typed the entire scene. That's how that sequence was formed, and that was one of the most talked about sequence of that entire series. And that's how it came up. And actually I would like to connect it to something which A.R. Rahman, I am a big A.R. Rahman fan. And I think in your own interview only, he said like cracking an idea at the off times, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. At that time, we will be in a fire to record that immediately. And if we packed our bags and okay, we will record it tomorrow. And tomorrow is another day, another passion, another vibe. The vibrations are different. The same idea might not look good or impressive. So suppose ஒரு ஐடியா தோணுச்சுன்னா அப்போவே எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணால் மேபி எவ்ரிதிங் வில் மேனிஃபெஸ்ட். ஸோ ஈவன் திஸ் ஸ்டோரி ஆல்சோ இன் எக்கோ ஆல்சோ தட் ஹேப்பன். Like my process is like when I finish the first half up to interval, I give it to my father to read. I won't have an idea about the second half also. So after he finished reading, I will ask him, where do you think this narrative would go, and what all can you guess? And he will say a few things. I will list it down, and I make sure I won't follow any of them. That I did in Kishkinda also. And in Echo, during the interval, the interval block finishes with a mystery about a character's death. No, so he was having a guess that this character will be killed by this character. So I wanted to stay away from that guess. So that's how the Mohan's character got such a death. There is one character who dies in the first 10 minutes of the second half. No, so the factors which led to his death, I wanted to surprise my dad. So that's how that decision came up.
Yeah. No, so you're saying you use your dad like an audience,
like an AI prediction.
AI prediction. Yeah. So
he'll be working on these guesses based on the algorithms he have in mind. As he watched a lot of movies. He was a huge cinephile.
Yeah.
He used to watch multiple movies in 80s. when 2 or 3 movies release on a Friday, he watches all 3 in that one day. So he was that kind of a cinephile. Now even after retirement also, he used to watch 2 or 3 movies in TV. So he has that algorithm in my frequent cinema goer, movie watcher. So his guesses will be mostly along that traditional line or convenient line or something which were more got used to watching. So if I can beat him, no, my intention was just to surprise him because he is my first reader.
You're
always.
correct. Yeah.
And my wife is a second reader, and my brother is also there. So my initial intention is always to surprise them, or at least to give them a good enough reading experience. Even if they didn't like it or not, I tried to make sure they enjoy the reading process. That's how I write.
Nice. So, what was the one thought before that formed Echo?
There's this line in Echo. Sometimes protection and restriction, they both look the same.
Yeah.
That was the line which came to my mind. I don't know how and why, but that line hit me so randomly.
You didn't read it somewhere. Nothing.
No.
It just
out of the blue. Okay. And then I got fascinated by the idea that it has fascinated by the range of ideologies or concepts or ironies that line can suggest, and simultaneously an imagery of guarding dogs came to my mind, and I thought, what if protection setup with guarding dogs was something else, was not like what we had thought.
Right.
Simply put, what if something which appears to be A was not actually A, it was B.
Right.
So that was the idea I had in my. I didn't have any plot or no Kuriyachen, no Malathicharthi, nothing I had. I just went on to write the scene 1.
Scene 1 is what now?
Scene 1 now is the Lodge.
Yeah. It starts with the destination is
journey, not the destination.
The journey. It's the journey, not the destination. Yeah. You said there is a bag like that, or there's a...
No, I didn't write that. That is a contribution of my friend Jobin John Varghese. He's an associate director.
Okay.
He used to work with me in Kerala Crime Files also. So it was his idea. We had planned this shot, and it was the shot was also his idea.
Okay.
We didn't have the first shot for the movie. We had only 2 days in the lodge, and even on the second day we couldn't come up with an idea for the first shot of the movie. We had the second shot where this character Ashok and Raputi come to the reception. But what can be the first shot? Then this guy Joby, he came up with the idea. We are anyway showing this Mohan Pothan's character as a adventure enthusiast or a traveler or something. So what if we can show his artifacts or his boots, his luggages, and also something moving along that line? Then I built on that, and that shot which he designed, which he said that takes a little bit of time. When the jib moves in that particular lens, it takes a bit of time. So we have to keep the shot engaging with newer elements. So towards the end, we added the Mohan Pothan's hand comes to my mind. So that adds in a layer of engagement. And towards the end, we have the jeep entering. And so the initial first 10 seconds or 8 seconds, we didn't have much engagement. It was all luggages or boots. So I thought, what if we can come up with a nice quote or something which can reflect the essence of the whole movie, that can add something. So that was my demand, and Joby came up with this quote, Bahul, try, what about this? He said, journey, not the destination. I felt it very apt. I said, thank you, and gave it to the art department, just stencil it out, and all. That's how the idea came up.
Lovely. I also thought that shot, for those, in case those who don't know, you are the writer and the cinematographer. Yeah. So just to clarify that. But I also thought that shot was very interesting because, it shows a man who is, that mystery is established right away because the cigarette, he looks out of those barred windows. There's some kind of a weirdness about it. There's a restriction to his movement. He's not really moving about his room or something like that. You could have shown him, walking, like when he's smoking, he's pacing about or something, but he's very, looking very close. So there's some restriction even there. I thought that was very, it was giving me a kind of a feel, a mood. I don't know how to explain it, but it was kind of there. So, yeah.
That's one thing. I have huge fascination for staging.
Ah.
That's I'm more fascinated about, rather than shooting beauty frames or perfect compositions or perfect light up. I'm more interested in this mise en scene, the staging, the blocking, where the camera moves. How can the same shot become the close, the wide and mid and long in the same shot itself, like how Spielberg used to do. We couldn't do something like that, but that's the aspirations I was telling. So in most of the staging was like that only. We never prefer good frame and all. We whatever feel right for the narrative to take it forward and to make it least obvious in the sense of the staging. Whenever someone start short division or start planning about a shot, we tend to think in a way, okay, let me go with the master shot. We'll place the character A and B on either sides of the frame, then we go into the cuts and all. So that basic kind of approach, I never wanted to try that.
You don't want the generic approach.
Yeah. So everything needs to have an individuality or an identity. At least we had to try for it, even if it not succeed or not, we have to try for it. That was the whole approach in every scene, every stagings. So even with dogs also, I wanted it to be more spontaneous and candid, not like it's staged. This is the position, the dog has to come here, the frame will be like this. More than that, if we can communicate in a feel like it's happening for real, it's so candid, it adds to the mise-en-scene like that. In most of the time we try to show the dogs in relation to something else. Like even towards the end, like, okay, I will give you an example. Towards the end, when one character opens his bag and takes out a property and he senses something in the bag, and then he look back. So we can cut it into 2 or 3 shots, like he is showing him, then him looking back, and then now showing an insert of what he was looking at. So all this will appear more staged and designed. So that was not the approach which I wanted. Like I wanted it to show in the same shot. Like, okay, he's sensing something and he reacting. Then the same shot reveal the
Other person. Yeah.
So that adds also. So that communicates something. So for the previous 10 or 12 seconds, the characters, the dogs were there. So that approach may add to more authenticity, more detailing and all. And even in the Malaysian flashback sequence, there is one shot when the dog comes with the fish in that vessel, and the same shot itself operate to reveal the other 2 characters, the couple.
Yeah.
So we could have shot that with a beautiful insert shot of the dogs only, when the dog comes with the fish and all. But when we are trying to do this happens more. This feels more real. I feel so. Don't know how the audience felt.
It feels real. That's what I'm saying. So when in that first scene you are showing, the camera goes and shows a number of props, and then you see the character and the cigarette, and it's like those bars, she's looking outside. Now the same thing you could have cut from the outside and shown Ashokan's point of view or something. No, but you stay only inside, right? It's almost like every character is operating in only their area. That kind of reflects to me your approach also. I'm not saying that this is I'm just giving you a possible reading. Like every character is kind of, they only, and then when you choose to reveal, does the whole picture come into the thing?
That adds a level of intrigue, I feel like. Since we are not showing this guy's face, people can think, who could be this guy? Why is he watching at Aputi's character? So that level of intrigue we earned. So for the next 20 seconds, that can be our like
suspense,
that hook line, suspense or something. And when the same character opens the door and he behaves like, oh, you are Aputi, that he is faking, no? He has already seen him through the window. Those layers of nuance layers may add up to something. And also even while that guy, Aputi, the actor Ashokan's character, before knocking the door, he just checks his watch and makes sure it's 8 a.m. Then knock the door. So that adds a layer to his characterization also. So once they open the door, it's all about Mohan Botan. So we can't give space to Aputi. So before opening the door, we wanted to give some texture to this character, and this was the shortest way. It doesn't take much time to give this layer, no? You just have to check his watch and then knock. Couple of seconds only. So that adds something to the character.
So Okay, so you start with this idea, you write scene 1, then you write scene 2, and then you write scene 3, you reach the interval, then post interval you start thing. But the mind is not always like that, right? Because when you are writing maybe scene 3, you are sometimes the mind will jump and give you an idea for scene 15, correct? How do you handle that situation? Because you want to discover bit by bit,
Yeah.
but you can't control your mind,
yes,
right?
yes.
Because the minute you have a character,
Definitely.
you might think, oh, this guy has come. Now that character appeared in scene 1. What about something like this? And you can. So, how do you handle that where you want to go scene by scene, but your mind sometimes takes you to maybe the end or maybe the interval or maybe something in the second half? How do you do that? Handle that?
I try to control myself. Like I won't note it. Even if some ideas like that come to my mind, I won't note it down.
Oh,
I won't note it down. I just keep it in my mind because the problem with noting it down is like then we will start trying to drive our narrative towards that point.
yeah.
So I may miss so many other more potential, more beneficiary routes along the way. I will be. That's why I don't used to write one line or scene order. So once you write, once you found a whole story or a one line or scene order, then it's. I feel it's more like a clerical job, like meeting the points, reaching there, reaching the next point, and finishing the story like that. We are just trying to fill in the gaps and all. So that impulsive decisions that may, or the impulsive ideas which may come randomly or out of the blue, we may miss all that.
Lovely.
Yeah, so I just keep it in my mind and will go with my flow only. Even when I find a chance to incorporate that idea, okay, I had an idea then and find an opportunity. Okay, right now, okay, I can fuse that idea in this scene. Then I will make use of that.
Yeah.
But I go back and forth. Like I won't do multiple drafts with the script. I write mostly the first draft only. I do it very strictly and make sure the first draft is almost the final draft. Of course, we'll do trimming and all very closer to the shoot. And after the location recce and all, we'll try to fit into the locations we found and all, and the trimming part and all. But mostly the essence, the content, the scene, the story, the drama, dilemma, everything will be the first draft itself. So because that's a problem with my process. Like I keep on building these stepping stones, so I'm climbing on that and moving further. So when rewriting in another draft, I won't have that objective. Like okay, I may feel okay, let's take out this scene, but it may spoil the gradual progression of the narrative it had, because when I'm going in order, I'm stepping on this second stone, and then I am climbing to the third step. So when I take off the second step, I am jumping from 1 to 3. So in between, we may miss some nuance or some dialogue context or something that feels like a missing. And okay, I was explaining this back and forth thing. Now I will give you an example. We have this post-woman girl in our movie Echo, and I wrote I wrote the first scene where Sandeep's character come to the post office to collect the money order. So later Naren's character they went to the PWD guest house, they have a conversation, and after that PWD scene, I wanted a scene where Sandeep's character explained all those experiences to Ashokan's character, the Apputti's character. And then I started thinking, where can I place this scene? And I don't want it to be a generic placement in some tea shops or something. So I thought, okay, already we have put a set for post office. And I have written only just one scene in that comes out to only 3 or 4 hours of shoot. So what if I can add one more scene to that day? So we will have a good enough scenes to complete in one day. So that's how I placed that scene in that post office. So we had 2 post office scenes with including that girl. And during and in the second half, there's one scene where Naren's character goes to Apputti's character, there is Ashok Attan's house, and those intimidation sequence and all. And then I needed Ashokan's wife's and daughter's character there to react. And I didn't want someone so randomly and so new to the story at that point of time. I wanted it to look more coherent altogether. So instead of introducing some new characters, I thought, why can't I include someone who I already introduced in the movie. Then I thought, okay, I have this post office girl, which had 2 scenes in the first half. Okay, then I thought, let me make her Ashokan's daughter, and went back to the post office scene. I add couple of dialogues in those scenes to make sure they are father and daughter. So this is an example. This back and forth work.
Okay, lovely.
I used to do.
Okay, no, this is great. And of course, there is no one way to write a screenplay. Everybody has a different way. So, but this is fascinating. So you write one draft. Halfway through, you give it to people who are close to you.
Not halfway through, only to my father.
Only father, wife, you said, brother.
Only after finishing the script.
Oh, okay.
Halfway through, I only give it to my father.
Right. Halfway through, you give it to your father, and you use him like AI, whatever you said, to make sure that, okay, dad is predicting option A, option B, option C, option D. So I should avoid all those options and go to option E.
Yeah.
That is the process,
That's
right?
the process.
Now, supposing now you've done only 2 feature films, so it's a little, I don't know if I can ask you this question, but did he say, I want this, or why don't you add this, something like that?
That's the good thing about my dad, and that's exactly why I don't share my ideas with anyone before writing. I won't share any idea or thought. I finish writing the script, then only I give it to anyone to read. Because the problem is that either when I narrate a thought or a story to you, you can say 2 things. Either you can say it's not good, try something else. Then I will get demotivated. Okay, I will. That can happen, because that can happen sometimes. Like maybe my narration wasn't good enough, or you pursued it something else in your mind. Maybe the original content was intended when we write and all. It could be something else, which you yourself will like that.
Yeah.
So that will be condition A. I mean, you negate it. You say no, this is not good. And the second condition may be you suggest a lot of ideas to me.
Yeah.
You can go this way. You can try that. Have you watched this movie? In this movie, the story is like that. All those explanations. No? This may corrupt the originally indigenous way the narrative might have gone if I didn't have any chat with anyone. So that's one thing. That's one reason I don't used to share to anyone. And the good thing about my dad is that he won't say all these things. One, he won't say. He won't say this is bad. He will just wait. He will say anyway. Good. He is very generous in that way.
Yeah.
And also he won't suggest these ideas. Also, he will just read and he say his opinion. Oh, it's good. It's interesting. I'm eager to know what's happening next. That's the only response he will say. Then I have to ask him, where do you think the story might go? And he will answer to that question only.
Okay.
So there is no, I'm not seeking for his validation at that point. Like, did you like it?
Yeah.
Should I write more, or should I go to the second half, or just skip it right now? I won't ask that question. He won't respond in that way also. So that's the good thing about my dad.
So it's beautiful. So for you, screenwriting is almost like an experiment. Correct?
Fun.
Fun. Meaning, but it's a trial that you're conducting in order to see where it goes. How is this thing going to go forward? It's like a mystery that you yourself are trying to solve.
Yes, somewhat like that. And the biggest advantage is that since I don't have any commitment to anyone, I'm writing it for time pass, for my self pleasure.
Yeah.
So if I pitch this idea to someone and he asks me, okay, develop into a script, then I am bound by an obligation.
Right.
I have to make it impressive. I have to impress him. So this process, I am just casual, just like how our kids used to draw things or paint something or write a poem or something and show it off. The pleasure is just have to see our reaction to that. That's how my daughter, she's 3 years old now, she is doing right now. She just paint it in whatever way she likes. She is not bothered about is it right or wrong. She paints the banana in pink color and all. And if we say no, paint it in yellow, she won't listen. No, banana is in pink. I liked it that way. So she's following his intuition. She's having fun with that. So that kind of innocence make you happy while you're doing some process.
Yeah.
And we are not bound by obligation. That takes a lot of pressure off
That
themselves.
Pink Banana is a beautiful
Even,
example.
Pink Banana. Even independent musicians or painters or artists or novel writers, they are not bound by. They are just trying to express their art. They are trying to do artistic expressions, taking their creative liberty, and they are not bound by or obliged to do or follow mandatory formulas.
Yeah.
That's why even music composers who are very prolific in doing movies, once in a while go out and do some independent musics, no? So they want to vent out something, express something, even if it didn't perform well or not. We are not bothered. Like I want to express something in my mind.
Yeah.
So that kind of approach, that's a kind of innocent approach. That's fun to do.
So when you finish the screenplay, you don't seek, like some people do, they'll give it to 5 friends, 6 friends, then you don't do that at all.
No, only these, my father, my wife, my brother, and there's also one friend who is also an associate director, Abhijit. His name is Abhijit. These are the 4 panel I have.
So you have fixed your panel. You will not give it to, let's say I ask you for it and say, let me give you an opinion. You will not give it to me.
No.
Right. So you, because these are the 4 people you want to, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And the guy I mentioned earlier, the Jobin John
Sure.
Varghese, no?
Like,
I met him much later.
Yeah, but
now he's also my confidential.
So you, like, that word is lovely, panel, because you have a specific panel that these are the people I trust with my screenplay, and I'm only going to use the same panel for every movie.
Yeah, and the advantage is that even if they criticize with something, I'm not obliged to accept that criticism.
Yeah.
Okay, I will take whatever I want. I will have that discretion meter.
Okay.
Okay, let me take this, let me listen to him. Okay, let me ignore that. That discretion I can take, and they are also not offended by that.
Right.
So that's how I found that panel.
Fantastic. Now, I mentioned as a viewer, I want to know some things, right? Because that is the nature of storytelling. Like, I meet you, I want to know more about you. I'm asking you these questions because I want to know more about how Bahul Ramesh writes, right? If you did not, if you just say, I sit down, I write, and then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock I sit down, and then I go for lunch, and then at 5 o'clock I stop writing, then there's no interest, because I don't know how you're writing. Now you're beautifully explaining how the process happens. So what I'm trying to say is, I know who you are now little bit, right? The reason I ask is, when I see Kishkinda Kandam and there is no little backstory about how Aparna met Asif, right? Again, I'm not saying there should be, right? I'm saying you choose this approach.
Yeah.
Similarly, there is a scene in Eco.
Okay,
where,
let me add to that. You continue, please.
Yeah.
It tried to give some abstract information based on that.
Sure.
Like when
this is the phone call.
Phone call is there, and also when Asif Khan's character asks on the first night of their marriage, he's embarrassed with whatever happened on that day.
Yeah.
And he's saying, Maashak endu vicharichana, like,
Yeah.
oh, what all could master would have thought. So he's calling Aparna's father as master, Maash.
Yeah.
So that dialogue nuance can add.
A lot.
Okay, Asif Ali's character may be familiar, maybe her father, maybe someone known to.
Yeah, maybe
Asif
like
Ali.
he was a teacher or something like
Something.
that.
So,
like that,
those kind of informations and also some dialogues, like the next morning, Aparna used to when she listened to the Northeast folk song, she says, "Okay, I used to do volunteer some trips to Delhi and Northeast and all. That's how I'm used to the Northeast."
Yeah.
So that adds some layers to the character.
Yeah.
And later in the office scene, his colleagues are adding details about Aparna's character.
Yeah.
She used to do this in Bangalore. She mastered in the social working or something, and then she did theatre and all. So little abstract piece of information where the audience can put it together and form an image of Aparna in whatever they wish to see her.
So when you reach that office scene and you're writing that office scene where Aparna is not there, you your mind says, okay, this is an excuse. This here I can give a little more information about that character. Is that how you work?
No. The purpose of the office scene was like to in that office scene, some breaking news has to come.
Yeah.
So that was only the purpose of that scene.
Yeah.
So before that breaking news has to come, the office scene has to have some meat, no?
Some life. Yeah.
Some life, and and I didn't want it to be some generic. Did you send that file? Did sir call you?
That always happens. Right? It's like, oh, is the project ready? Something like that. So
yeah, so I was looking for something which may add some details either to the plot or to any of the characters. So I found it a good chance to add some more meat to Abarna's character and made use of that 30 seconds which I had before breaking the news about the gunfire in Kalyapati Reserve Forest.
Lovely. Similarly, there is a bit about in Eco where there is a character who has the semi-porn magazines and also writes erotic stories. Now that is there for just one scene. Okay, two scenes. Because that office scene where you reveal this aspect, because we don't know what he's writing. At that scene, you divide into two. That is, in that scene, we see the magazines and we see that person is writing something. But you're thinking, what is he writing? Then at the post office, he tells the girl that I also write erotic stories.
It's for pocket money.
Pocket money, whatever it is. How does this help the character?
I had already 3 scenes before writing that scene where he writes the porn stories. By then I had already 3 or 4 scenes with this character of Pius. So when I wanted to write the 4th scene, another scene, I wanted something which can add to that character. So to make him more naive or to make him a bit unpredictable. So, and also at that time I wanted to stage him in his own space only. So he won't have anyone to interact also. So whatever layer I wish to add, he had to do it himself.
Yeah.
So then this idea came to my mind. That's how it happened.
Okay.
Yeah. For every 3 or 4 scenes I used to do that. Like for example, with Naren's character. Similarly, I wrote 3 or 4 scenes with Naren's character. He was very gentle, soft-spoken and all. And then I moved to the 5th scene where he and that Papachan's character, the retired ASC's character, they travel in a car before that accident. And in that sequence, I needed one more extra layer to this character, this Naren. So I didn't want to show him the exact space like he used to behave in the previous 4 scenes. So that's when I decided to add a rift, kind of a verbal rift between these two. Like when Papachan questions about his motives or intentions and he blocks that in his own style, like mind the borders in between, don't come up with these questions to me, I'm not whom you think me are, like that. And that adds to his character, no? Okay, he has another side also.
Right.
Till then he had only one dimension, a soft-spoken, gentle guy.
Right.
Now it is giving glimpse that okay, he may have a rustic, raw side also, more evilish, sinister side also, and that adds to Naren's character. And then if the listener character, the Papachan's character, if he responds by saying, "Oh, sorry, sir," it doesn't add anything.
Yeah.
That character is dormant. He will be there only. So then I thought, let me make Papachan's character also interesting. Then he replied with, "I don't want your bribe and all. Like, don't try to boast me." Like he is showing his self-respect. I have my own intention.
Yeah.
And I just got along with you since you are to the same direction.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I am your slave or your assistant or
Yeah.
anything. So mind your words also, mind your approach also. And that adds to Papachan's character. And when Naren listens to that, he is not offended by that. He smiles. That adds another dimension to also. Because when somebody offends in a good way, he like, okay, I like you. I like your self-respect. You're interesting, man.
Yeah.
like that. That's how I keep on doing that for every characters. Like for example, Mohan Bothan's character, we show him. We start by the lodge scene. We show him on the first time in the lodge. So he's very sophisticated kind of body language and the choice of words and all. So we have 1 or 2 scenes like that. And when they set out on the jeep with Aputi to the Katuvunu area, then he was three particular words which are not politically appropriate, like the world, I can say it on YouTube, something along the line of female dog, some colloquial term in Malayalam which describes a female dog, but it's not politically appropriate. So that choice of words can add to his character. Like, oh, okay, he's not that sophisticated, classy guy whom we thought about him. He can be thorough local also. And he may not be politically correct. He may have evil intentions also. So these kind of details I try to add with every character. Most of the characters, I try to for every 3 or 4 scenes. And finally, we talk about Kuriyachan all throughout the movie. Like, every character who comes and goes talk about Kuriyachan in a very sinister way. Like, he's not trustworthy. He's like that. We portray him as a villain. So I wanted, when we show him for the first time on screen, he should be totally in a contrasting space from whatever we heard about him till that point. He can be vulnerable. He can be gentle. He can be like when he asks.
Sorry to interrupt, but is this coming from you revising something, or in your first draft?
First draft itself.
No. What I mean is, when you reach the point where Kuriyachan is described as a villain, then you go and say, okay, let me tweak that a bit in the first scene or first appearance, so that he's a different thing.
No, mostly from the first scene itself, Kuriyachan is portrayed as a negative character only. No?
Yeah.
So the Malaysian sequence come much later, almost after 45 minutes. So in the first 45 minutes itself, we portrayed Kuriyachan's
like a mystery. Like, nobody knows what he is.
Yeah,
is he really what is this? Why are these people looking for him?
And most of them are in revenge motive.
Yeah.
So even there's one scene where this Papachan's character remember about that incident in a police camp, a torturing camp, concentration camp kind of issue. So definitely, and Naxals are also after him. So he might be a notorious person. That kind of image we already portrayed. So when we are showing him for the first time on screen in that Malaysian sequence, I didn't want it to be an exact reinforcement of the idea which I already portrayed. I want it to be contrasting or something new. So that's when I added that gentle or more political dialogues, and or not political, like when he asks, why don't you take care of your wife as if she is a wife? So people may not expect someone like Kuriyachan to say that dialogue. So that was the approach I was saying.
That's a beautiful explanation. And you know what? This itself is like a surprise, like how I see in your movies, because I came here thinking I'm going to get an interview and I'm getting a masterclass. This is fantastic. For every mystery, traditionally speaking, there's who, what, where, when, why, how. These are the questions that one wants the answers to. Like, for example, you take Agatha Christie or detective writers here, anybody. Like, I just named Agatha Christie because she's very famous in the world. But like, so-and-so shot so-and-so. Why? They wanted the money. Why? And how they put poison in arsenic or something, some poison. When, that particular time. Like, where. So how, like all that, right? So that's the thing. In your movie, let's talk about Echo. You reveal a character at the end who does something, who has done something. So the who is clear, right? What did that character do? That is also clear. Okay. But how, when, why, where is not important in this scenario, right? It's like that area. So how, when, why, you don't answer. Don't you think that leaves the audience with a bit of how? Because yes, you give a clue earlier on that maybe there is black magic involved, but you don't really, there's no connection, right? So you're leaving us to say, so you're telling me, I know who did this, I know what this character has done, but why don't you want to answer how? How did that character do that thing? Why did that character do that thing? when also you can kind of excuse?
Okay, I think there are a couple of points. When I start writing, already told you I don't have a whole story of one line in mind.
100%.
So I'm not conceiving it as a mystery myself. I'm just treating it as a drama. So I'm just doing with dramatic situation and just trying where this dramatic narrative is going ahead, where this is heading and all. So I don't have any objectives in my mind, who, where, when and all. So I'm not obliged by the duty like to fill in these objectives, to tick these boxes and all. I just went with the flow, and whenever I feel okay, this is it, I finish it there. And these voids, if we explain too much, that can narrow down the possibilities.
Yeah.
So the audience, if audience put their own thoughts and interpretations and layers into it may sound bit more authentic and detailed and believable. So if we narrate something in okay, this is like this only to that one single point, it may become very small and more subject to like criticism and all. So I found it as a safe way.
Okay.
And seeing my producer's happiness, I feel happy that okay, that risk was worth taking.
Yeah.
Producer is very happy. That's all we want.
I think it's brilliant. I think the fact that you have done this in 2 films and both the films are hits, it's amazing. Which means that the audience is like willing to accept different narratives, right? They're not because what producers typically do more than the directors also, because they fear the box office. They say, let's add this, let's add that, let's do this, let's do that, so that the audience they think a lot about the audience, right? Now you're only thinking about yourself, which is fantastic and which is a true artist, because a true artist creates for the audience within themselves, right? Like if you're writing for Bahul Ramesh, that person is the audience. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not asking you, there's a word that in your answer, there is this word, you don't want to explain too much. That too much I understand. But where do you draw the line between too much and too little?
I'm not conscious about that while writing.
Okay.
I don't think about it too much also.
Okay.
So I was giving, okay, let me try to communicate it in another way.
Yeah, you don't want to give away the mystery, but
no. I was giving this example the other day. Like, there are no open things in this movie. I have answered for every question. The thing is that the answer is not exactly below the question.
Yeah.
We see a question mark here, the answer need not be here. The answer might be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it may have repeated maybe a couple of times also, in metaphorically or through dialogues also, in some other context. So we have to add that, to connect that. Like this example I told yesterday was like when we were studying in school, we have this question, in question paper, match the following, where we'll have column A will have a set of animals, a cat, and then the column B will be the preferred food items. So grass will be written straight to cat, and below cow will be written, and then there will be milk. We had to draw the line from cow to grass. So answer is already there in both columns. So that kind of add an engagement. The audience may find it engaging. That's expectations. Audience may find it engaging, and they will try to do that brain work and all. And also this, that's a phrase I tried to coin up, like the cross resonating dialogues. Like I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. Christopher Nolan and M.T. Vasudevan Nair, those are my favorite writers. So Prestige is my all-time favorite movie. That's one movie which I watched.
That is my favorite Christopher Nolan film, and like you say, one of my all-time favorite films. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
and I'm very, very inspired by the meticulous approach they took in every department of that movie. In writing, in editing, directing, in staging also. Like that I told you earlier, that they are not, they have put this huge expensive sets and all, Victorian London and all, and they are not in a obligation to show off that. Like, let me put a wide jib shot like this, a beauty shot like that. They're just narrating the story and going with the flow, and the staging is so effortless and candid, that their interactions and also. Okay, coming back to the script point, the Prestige script is very fascinating. It's very meticulously put. Every time we rewatch it, we find a new details which we didn't find till the last watch.
Yeah.
And that, okay, sometimes it will surprise, oh, this dialogue, this is why they added that dialogues in the seventh scene. That kind of excitement we get, even last week also I watched Prestige. By now I might have watched it more than 500 times, Prestige. Every moment if I get a free time, I used to watch Prestige. And this cross-resonating dialogues, what I intended to communicate is that when one character say a dialogue to the character B, okay, like for example, in this movie, in Echo, when one character says, some dogs have only one master. So that character, from that character's point of view, it's correct, and he has his own reason for that. And the listener character, he or she, listens to that and smiles, responds with a smile, acknowledging that, yeah, you are right, I know that, I have my own reasons for like agreeing to that.
Yeah.
And also one more dialogue, like കൂറുള്ള പട്ടികളുണ്ട്, there are obedient dogs also, and then also the listener character is smiling.
Yeah.
So that character have his or her own reasons for that.
Right.
So this is what I meant. I tried to communicate with cross-resonating dialogue. So one character says something and it applies to another character also. So this I tried to do throughout the movie. Like when the Mohan Bothan's character explains about Kuriyachan, like he says, അയാൾക്ക് വേണ്ട കാര്യങ്ങൾ അയാൾ പോലും നമ്മൾ പോലും അറിയാതെ നമ്മളെ കൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യിക്കും. He persuades us to do something. He is a master manipulator.
Yeah.
And this is what he did in the flashback sequence. So those kind of cross-resonating things I used.
Flashback as in Malaysia.
So in many of the sequence that kind of dialogues I tried to add. That context may be different, the character equation dynamics may be different, but that dialogue in some other context has a altogether different meaning, and both the context in both the occasions will be appropriate only.
Yeah.
Like wherever our dialogues. So these thing I observed it from Prestige. And Nolan in general, most of his movies use this. Like for example, in Oppenheimer, there's a phrase about lifting a stone before you see the snakes. No? I think 3 or 4 characters says that line in different situations. In Prestige also something like that. So yeah, don't know how.
No, I think you explained it beautifully. See, the thing is, you're just like you're trying to break tradition. Because typically, I know you don't think of it as a mystery. For you, it is like a drama. But because the ending is like a twist, both in Kishkinda Kandam and in Echo, the ending is like a twist because it comes
also,
to.
Can I add one more glimpse? Yeah. There's one scene when Narayan's character comes to this house and speaks with this character and warning that character, you should shift from here to somewhere else. You're not safe here. And that character replies with, I'm not alone here. And the first watch, it means that character has an aid by a supporting character. But when you rewatch it, we get to know what that character was confident about.
Yeah.
What made he or she says that I am not alone here.
Yeah.
Who were all with that character.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is, I want the audience to get one experience, but I also want my movies to be rewatchable so that every time the movie is seen, maybe they'll get something new, right? Yeah. I'm saying that, I'm just arguing with you, like, just because it's interesting, right? I'm not denying, I'm not saying right or wrong that way.
No, I'm happy that I'm having a conversation with you.
So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but see, the thing is, over years, see, for example, there's a concept of a setup and a payoff, right? That is again, it's not a rule or something like that, but in a movie, when you introduce something, you expect that something to have a resonance somewhere later. Like, it's like when you put a gun when you show a gun, that character has a gun, you're expecting that gun to be fired somewhere in some place. Like, that's why you're showing the gun. So the audience is trained, say that I see this, so I think there's going to be something with this. I see this character and Pawn, and I think that character and pawn is going to lead to something. Maybe that character is a pervert. Maybe that character is going to look at women in a certain way. Maybe there's some, but you don't. That is a standalone scene. So that is the beauty of what I'm talking about with your screenplays, right? You using, it's like you're giving a character a gun, you're showing the gun, and then you're saying that gun is just one trait of that character. He may or may not use that gun. That's okay. I don't care. But you just follow the story. I'm thinking, when is that gun going to go off? So you're untraining my mind to kind of look at certain things as not necessarily having that payoff, because you're not even looking at it as a setup. That's brilliant. I think that's beautiful, because I've never seen anybody say this before.
Maybe that's kind of an attitude. Like in Malayalam, it says Tarkutaram. Tarkutaram means negating or arguing with everything you see, like everything what appears to be a tradition or convenient or conventional thing. Like that's the approach we use in music also. So the brief which we give to the Mujeeb Majeed, my friend, is that okay, whenever you feel to use a rhythm by conventional traditional means, never use rhythm. When you wish to create a thrilling, haunting score, never do that. Play a melody. So that kind of contrasting ideas. Okay, I'll share an anecdote, a trivia. Like I said, I'm a huge A.R. Rahman fan. And one song which I keep on listening and which keep on inspiring me or pushing me to be daring or to try to do daring thing is Tirda and the Ti song. So the reason is that it starts as a sweet melody, lullaby kind of thing, and when it hits the 1.5 minutes mark, it changes its form and shape, and it becomes a thunderstorm with heavy percussions, rhythm and all. So that call, no, they maybe they could be insecure, like sweet or melody, why can't we make it two distinctive songs? Let this be a pure melody of 4.5 minutes, and the other thing will be a rhythmic portion. They fused it, that contrast, that daring thing, no? Release aanakapram dhaan idu work avuma illaya theriyum. Yet they went ahead with that. That call, no? That call pushed me everything, pushed me every time. Like even in this Malaysian sequence, no, I wrote close to 30 scenes, close to 29-30 scenes till that 45 minutes mark, and then now I have to go to Malaysian sequence, leaving all the characters I created till that moment and to go into a new terrain with new characters and new drama.
With only 2 characters coming there from here.
Visibly only Vinny Thattan's character only in terms of the facial, familiarity. And these kind of songs pushes me. Okay, I can be insecure. It's 45 minutes ആச்சு, இன்னுം 50 മിനിറ്റ്സ്ക്ക് ഇൻ്റർവൽ വരണോ, നടുവിൽ இந்த ടൈമിൽ പോയി വേറെ ഒരു ടെറൈൻ ഇത് പുതുസാக ഏதாவது കാമിച്ചെന്നാൽ ഇറ്റ് മേ ഗോ ഓഫ് ബാലൻസ് ഓർ ഓഫ് ട്രാക്ക്. அதை பற்றியெல்லாம் ஆக்சுவலி கவலைப்படலை. Since this Rahman sir and Maniratnam sir have tried something like this with a beautiful melody, then okay, let's try.
So basically it's like,
and also how Talli Pogade song was used in AYM. That was gooseflesh, like when that's weird actually, when the hero and heroine meets death and we get goosebumps.
Actually that's also another brilliant thing, because you typically expect us, when you hear the song, you think it's going to be used in a kind of this kind of romantic situation, but then it's actually it is still a romantic situation, because now, but the point is, when you hear the song, you think it's don't go away from me, but here it is like don't die. like that there's a different kind of thing that happens when somebody flips it on you. I totally get it, but I think the reason I'm asking all these questions is because you have flipped the thriller on its head, because what you look at as a drama, because of the nature of the narrative, because at the end of the day, when you hear a story that in this story a gun goes missing, in this story a man goes missing, so the minute that plot point kicks in, your mind is thinking mystery, or there's a detective element involved, because some things need to be solved. And at least in Kishkinda Kandam, you solve it to some extent because you take us to one point where we say, okay, either this happened or this happened. In Echo, you're kind of leaving it more open because you show the who did it and what did they do, but how did they do it, you don't really kind of answer, even though you say that you have answered in the earlier things.
And also too much explanation may spoil the fun also.
Yeah.
Like the believability context, it may appear too simple or silly or cheesy.
No, actually, see, what you're doing is trying to make the movie mimic real life. Because in real life, you get to know a person only in stages, no? Like if you fall in love with someone, the first time you fall in love with the appearance of the person, right? You don't know what they're like, and then slowly you discover. So it's a lifelong process of discovery kind of a thing, right? Because similarly, like what you're saying is, in these 2 compressed hours, I'm just going to leave you with a sense of real life unfolding as opposed to a dramatic life unfolding. And why I think it's revolutionary is because movies are compressed reality, right? In real life, will go on for days, but movie or mini series can also go on for many episodes. But your movies are 2 hours. 2 hours, you have to show all these things. You have to lay what the premise is. You have to show the important characters. You have to give important details so that we differentiate those characters from one another. And then you have to take those characters in and out of the story. And then you have to give us like an ending, which even though may not solve everything, at least gets us to a point where we're able to think back and say, oh, maybe this happened, maybe that happened, maybe that happened. So to do all this in 2 hours is not easy. And I think that's something that is it's a learning that's very good in this interaction, because I think because you explained it so well, I think that's beautiful for many writers who may be listening to this, because everybody gets stuck with this wanting to explain everything to everybody.
Obligation.
Then again, I'm wondering if this is also audience related, because will the same technique work in a more commercial industry like Tamil or Telugu or Hindi? These 3 are the biggest industries, right, in terms of the audience. So will this work there? That's a question mark, because until we get a Bahul Ramesh in any of the in the other industries, or a director, see, it's actually a big credit to Dinjith also Ayyathan, who's the director of both these films, because he got the screenplay from you and he said he's willing to work with that. He's not saying, okay, add this, add that. Give the audience a little bit of how this character met this character. Because just like I have a mystery about how exactly Asif Ali met Aparna Balamurali, in Echo also, there is a bit of a mystery about how this particular character met the mentor-like character towards the end. You know who I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Because you don't explain it at all.
No, we give a glimpse in the theatre sequence.
Yeah.
Where we overhear the scene in the theatre, like where a kid is hungry, give me food or buy me food.
Yeah.
And the senior character, the aged character is answering, okay, I'll buy you food. What can I expect from you? What will you do for me? That's a abstract way of communicating what could have happened in the.
And even there, like you say, what could have happened? Yeah. So it's like a hint more than a explanation.
And also the thing is that when I try to create the narrative in this manner, I'm trying to make sure this doesn't. It's not. The project might not. Project shouldn't be more demanding in terms of budget and all.
Yeah.
So I wanted the project to happen. Okay, when I pitched it to a producer, he should feel courage. He should, he should feel it safe, worthing. Okay, let's give it a shot. It won't come up to that kind of a budget. Let's give it a try. That kind of confidence I have to induce in him.
Yeah.
So the script shouldn't be too demanding.
Yeah.
That's why it's a period story. And once I decided this is going to be a period story, I immediately fixed in my mind, this is not going to have any urban backdrops, city backdrops, so because we will have to put huge sets and all, so that will demand a huge budget. All this technician awareness kicks in while writing. That's very frequent.
That's brilliant.
I work as cinematographer, for every now and then, every moment, that technician awareness is always there in my mind.
Yeah.
Like in terms of budgets, okay, let's go for terrain and landscape. So in the year period, all will be convincing, and we will have freedom to take wide shots. We won't be restricted. Okay, compose it more tighter, because here we have a modern kind of building or a metro bridge there. We won't have such restrictions. And also the spontaneity I was talking about, like they did in Prestige. So while staging and all, when the characters, I wish to give artists more freedom. I won't have any fixed marks.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Go wherever you want. We will capture. Okay, we will have lights to make sure wherever he go, he will be lit in a three-dimensional way, in a dramatic way. That we will make sure, but we will give more freedom. And right now, on the go itself, if a shot if we do some mannerism, I can adjust the frame or go in something, making him more bolder. Or when he turns this side, I can go this side. That kind of operations makes it more lively. Like, did you watch the film Kapoor and Sons and all?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this Prestige and Kapoor and Sons, the camera operations and the staging, the choreography, the mise-en-scene, I like both these movies very much.
Yeah.
So it creates a feel it's happening for real.
Yeah.
And it's not staged, it's not very deliberate. We can't see a filmmaker in both of those movies. Of course, the brilliance of the filmmakers, we will admire that after watching the movie.
Yeah.
But while watching the movie, we will feel it's all happening.
Yeah, and
real.
Kapoor and Sons also feels very light, like it's happening right in front of you.
Yeah.
Like it's not like somebody said, there's an X on the floor.
Yeah.
Come and stand at that X. It's not like that, It's almost like a flow is happening.
Yeah. So this technician awareness. I mean, the post office scene I mentioned earlier. So I wrote the first scene where Piyush comes to the post office to collect his money order, and when I wanted another scene to happen, the thought was that, okay, this is a period movie anyway, we will have to create a set spending for 2 or 3 lakhs for creating a post office. So right now I have only a brief scene in that post office, which may take only 3 or 4 hours max. Still there is a day left. So no point in creating a 2 or 3 lakhs worth set for the 3 hours only.
Yeah.
So that's when I decided, okay, let me add one more scene to the post office and make it a whole day.
Yeah.
Similarly, the PWD guest house also, Naren's office space, where he's residing.
Yeah.
I wrote one scene with Sandeep, where Naren interacts with Piyush in the PWD guest house, and close to the interval, just before the interval, I needed one more scene in the including Naren, Sandeep, Ashok and all. They were discussing about these things. So that can happen in any place.
Yeah.
So right then, what I will be thinking might be, okay, for PWD guest house, we might have to rent a space, a bungalow kind of office space, and we will have to pay 30,000 rent for that day. And that one scene alone will take only half the day.
Yeah.
So if I can incorporate this also, place this scene also in that exercise space, in that 30,000 rent package in the rendu scene. So those are advantage for the producers. So இது எங்க பெனிஃபிட் ஆகும்னா, இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல இது பட்ஜெட் போடுறதுக்கு they will sit down to create the budget now. So இதெல்லாம் பார்க்கும்போது, okay, this may come around 40-45 days, budget இவ்வளவுதான் வரும், அவ்வளோ ரிஸ்க் எல்லாம் இல்லை, let's give it a shot. So what if I wrote it all separate scenes and we shot this movie in 45 days. So நான் ரொம்ப ஃப்ரீடம் எடுத்து ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்பான்சிவா யோசிச்சு வேற இடத்துல எல்லாம் பிளேஸ் பண்ணிச்சுன்னா, that may come around 60-65-70 days. That means another 75 lakhs or close to 1 crore in terms of budget. So that spot only they will decide, okay, appra yosikla சொல்லிட்டு the project won't take off itself. So my intention is this project has to happen. No pointing in writing something and keep it in our shelf.
So that's brilliant. So you watch another, I keep saying brilliant all the time, but that's what it is. It's like you're saying the lower the budget, the more risk you can take.
Yes.
That's
exactly. That's why independent filmmakers have more control or more artistic, more nuanced. They can, like how Anurag sir, I'm a huge fan of Anurag Kashyap also. Anurag Kashyap and Vetrimaran sir, இவங்களோட இன்டர்வியூஸ் தான் நான் நிறைய பார்ப்பேன். So Anurag sir, the ugly எல்லாம் ரொம்ப, so after making Bombay Velvet, he went back and made Raman Raghav.
Yeah.
Went into his own space so that he will have more control to express. While making Bombay Ulver, he might have some obligations to, since it's a huge budget, maybe the corporate.
I think, but I think also when you're working with a star, when you're working with all this, some restrictions come in,
maybe
which you may, even if the star says, oh, you yourself might prevent yourself from going to another space. So
and also this design of the Echo script was also in that way only. Like before I started writing, before the story was anyway, before writing scene 1, the architect which I had in mind was this should not be demanding in terms of artist requirement. Like the weightage of the whole film shouldn't rest on one or two single characters. It should be equally distributed among 6 or 7 characters, so that I need only a couple of days, only a few days from each artist. So in a span of 40 or 45 days, I can make it into a whole movie. So the budget also comes down like that. And now that point, okay, that's the cinema package. Now the thing is that I have to pitch this project into a producer. So I have to show him a candy, a USP. He should find something attractive, no? So that's why I decided let me make use of the dogs all throughout the movie, in metaphorically, literally everywhere. Like how traditional cinema make use of songs or fights frequently, I made use of these dog elements. So the usage of dogs is, when the producer look into the project, he may find this as attractive.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's candy. That's a nice word. So if I were to ask you, after the film, we're having a discussion, let's say we're having a drink or something, and then I say, so what do the monkeys mean in Kishkinda Kandam, or what do the dogs mean in Echo? Will you be able to give an answer?
No, I didn't think about it that way.
Okay.
How monkeys came into Kishkinda Kandam was that very coincidentally. Because I had this scene where Aparna's character, on the next day of her marriage, she goes out for a morning walk and she is taking selfies. And one moment she's getting curious about something which she noticed above the tree. So and then I wrote, okay, she noticed something and she looked up. Now I have to come up with an answer. What might be that? She's getting curious. What can induce curiosity in her? Then I thought, okay, there should be some property which should be contrasting to the environment. Then I wrote old transistor radio. Now I have to come up with an explanation how that transistor radio went there, I reached there. So in the beginning of the scene, when I write the left side, the description, I described it like there are a lot of trees. It's very much like a forest kind of ambience and all. So that kicked in. And if it's a forest kind of ambience, there are possibilities that monkeys can be inhabitants. And it's possible that monkey could have placed it there. And then I wrote it as an explanation when Asif Ali's characters explained to Aparna, the Korangammarada Paniyana, monkeys brought it there and all. So that's how monkey element came in there. And at regular intervals, I keep on bringing
But I'm saying afterwards. So like now you've written, of course, you didn't start the movie saying, I'm going to use monkey as a metaphor, right? You didn't start like that. But I'm saying now that the movie is over, do you find yourself thinking, okay, now looking back, I think the monkeys could represent this. Do you have a theory?
Yes. But not like a articulated theory or something, but maybe the monkey mind, the human mind, the way human mind behaves. Monkey chattering and all that.
And with the dogs in Echo?
That was pre-designed, no? That was no coincidence. Like that was the candy for the producer.
So that is more like, that goes back to the tool of control. They are used as like guards, like the tool of control for the.
And also by the advantage of animals, which I felt like most of the times I'm trying to deal with more serious themes like moral conflicts or dilemmas or crimes or something. So while having a parallel stream with these animal essence, that kind of balance, I have an equilibrium, at least in my mind, like not to push myself into a too dark zone. Whenever I have a monkey related incident or a dog related scene at a regular interval, I'm getting a dopamine in my mind. So that I'm enjoying the process also. So this I found interesting, and I was hopeful that people of all age groups, even the younger age group, because since these stories are mostly matured, people would understand. But because of this animal presence, even the kids may attend to that.
Yeah.
So that worked in favor of Kishkindagan also. Many kids, like 4 or 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, their parents were telling us they attentively, intriguingly watched Kishkindagandam. I'm sure that they wouldn't have understood the story, but just because of this monkey element, they were attentive. Even my daughter, she was only 2 years old then, and she was asking for the premiere, for the first day show, she was asking at regular interval, Bahu monkey vida Bahu. Like enga po monkey eppo varum ketittu irpe. She watched it throughout, and like that. And while dealing with this political, okay, another example is the Planet of the Apes franchise by Matt Reeves. He directed the final 2 movies, and it's a huge political movie, right? And it's very interesting to watch. I watched it a lot of times. There are much better political movies with human characters. அதெல்லாம் நான் பார்க்கறதுக்கு அவ்வளோ இனிஷியேட்டிவ் எடுக்கல. ஆனால் மேட்ரிக்ஸ் படம் நான் நிறைய வாட்டி பார்த்துருக்கேன். Similarly, how
is it because of the director or is it because of the theme?
Because of the theme.
Okay.
இந்த படம் பார்த்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் I got to know about Matrix. So அதுல இந்த ape context கூட இருக்கும்போது that creates a fascination or USP in my mind. Like ரொம்ப serious political மாதிரி இல்லாம கொஞ்சம் adventurous மாதிரியும் இருக்கு. அது மாதிரி. So when Spielberg did Jurassic Park and Schindler's List in the same year, 1993. அந்த டைம்ல நான் அந்த இயர்ல தான் நான் பிறந்தேன். But much later, I know those films are made in the same year. Schindler's List, mostly I might have watched only 1 or 2 times most. But Jurassic Park, I watched it many times. Even if ஒரு chance கிடைச்சுனா கூட I'll watch it. Recently, couple of months back, me and my friends went on a trip to Universal Studio, and there was this Jurassic themed park, and we were all like children, like kids that kindled us. Like நாங்க சின்ன பசங்க இருந்தப்போ FD இதெல்லாம் பார்த்து ஃபேசினேட்டா இருந்தது. So once immediately after getting out, most of my friends were around 40, late 30s or 40s. Myself was the younger one. So we unanimously said, once we reach back Kochi, we'll watch Jurassic Park on a big screen. Let's watch it. And the nostalgia வருது. That kids in us, no, that gets fascinated. That I found that it has an advantage of using animals in the narrative to telling more serious, sensitive themes using animals, like how Aesop's fables and Panchandra tales. They are communicating more dilemma, more in-depth communications, no, philosophically and all. But to make sure it reaches more younger ages, they make it more simpler with using animals or fantastical beings and all. So that kind of approach may have a benefit. That's how I felt.
You mentioned political themes. Now, supposing I say that Eco is actually a feminist drama, would you agree with that?
I agree, definitely.
Okay. Now, but the difference is, you didn't start out by saying, I'm going to write a feminist drama. Yes. But when you ended, when you look at what the last scene, you're saying, okay, I have written a feminist drama. That thought you have?
That's what I mentioned earlier. Finally, after writing conversation, screenplay, finally I found the story. Okay, this is about a feminist political statement.
Okay. Now, the working title of Kishkindagandam was The Curious Case of Apopilla. And here you have a tagline called The Many Chronicles of
Infinite, from the Infinite Chronicles of Kuriachan.
From the Infinite Chronicles of Kuriachan, right? So, in your head, when these are there is already a bit of legend to these characters, like you're saying, like Panchatantra, whatever it is. There is already a bit of, like, you know what I'm saying? How do you come up with this?
Mainly, I don't. The untitled script, I'm not having a good feeling with going ahead with the untitled first page. So for namesake, I will try to give some random title.
Okay.
So when this becomes a project, we'll anyway change that. So for this this Echo, the tentative title I had was Chronicles of Kuriachan only. And why Chronicles of Kuriachan? The word Chronicles, it creates a kind of feeling in my mind, like all those. When I say Chronicles, the image of Jim Corbett comes to my mind, Ruskin Bond comes to my mind, Huckleberry Finn, and Jules Verne comes to my mind, Monte Cristo comes to my mind, Spielberg comes to my mind, and all those fascinating things we enjoyed as a kid comes to my mind just because of that word chronicles.
Yeah.
And that pushes me to enter into a more kind of an adventurous vibe, just like having a trekking in a very serene, exotic place, still bit scary, maybe adventurous also,
Yeah.
maybe risky. That's fun to move along that line. Sometimes the names of characters also push you like that.
Yeah.
Like how Appupilla, the character of Appupilla, that name, that I don't know anybody by the name Appupilla in real life. So that character gave me a push, like, okay, he's a curious character, he's a unique character. That kind of something caricaturish about that name.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Because you're saying that if you name the character after somebody you know,
Huh.
then that real person might start to influence your writing. Am I correct?
That can be true also.
Okay.
But that's not the reason why I
Okay.
try to be unique. I mean, there are many powerful names which I could have given to this character Appupilla. So I wanted it to be contrasting. So we are portraying him as a stubborn, very strict army officer kind of thing. So we are, instead of giving a very powerful name which we are traditionally more used to, I thought let me try to give him a cute name.
Okay.
Appupilla is actually
Again, contrast.
Contrast. It's
Yeah.
a very cute thing. Appu is always
Yeah.
somebody we feel it's very cute. Appupilla, yeah. Appupilla.
Yeah. That's not the character at all.
That's not the character. So
Yeah.
that kind of contrast, and also some other. And when I named Appupilla, the character Appupilla as Appupilla, I didn't want every character's names to be unique.
Yeah.
That will stick out. The deliberation may stick out. So I gave Asif's character a more simpler name, Ajayan, and Abarna's character I wanted a wiser name. That the sound itself should reflect some wise thing. It should be a negative in space. So I named it Abarna, and then I had to name Jagadish Shettan's character. I gave him Sumadattan. That's also not a frequently used name in Kerala. There are people Sumadattan. So that's how sometimes these names also pushes the narrative. Since I have no route ahead in my script,
Yeah.
sometimes these kind of
So
elements push me.
even the name is a blank slate.
Huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the name
even-
itself is a blank slate.
Maybe in Echo, maybe I don't know what led me do so, but maybe in the second half we have that streak, where these guys go for a expedition kind of thing, where they climb down and walk through the forest near the waterfalls and all. Maybe that kind of milieu, that mise-en-scene came to my mind since I named it already Chronicles of Kuriachan.
Yeah.
Maybe that,
So that
Chronicles
adventure-
part, the Lost World of Sea, many Chronicles of Narnia. Every time we hear the word Chronicles, it creates a particular kind of a hormone.
Tell me about that snake scene in Echo. When you already have one kind of animal in the movie, did that seem like, did you debate how that scene should happen?
No, I just went with the flow. It was first thought
It
only.
was first thought.
only.
Okay.
I wanted it to be surprising, contrasting. And what I found interesting was not the element or appearance of the snake. My fascination was the way this character, would react to that.
Okay.
I mean, not the victim, the other character. So before showing the snake itself, he is smiling and he is saying, he knows he is tired, he can't stand him. He's almost okay. He already acknowledged that okay, this guy is gonna kill me and all.
Yeah.
So at that point, he is saying, "Oh, last hope and hope I'm looking for a last hope," and he's smiling. And when that sting happens, he's ecstatic. Like
That's when we realize he knows, he's seen that. Yeah.
So and in that dying moment also, he's happy, like in its own weird way, and he's happily acknowledging it with a smile, and he's searching for okay. Thankfully, this happened, and he's acknowledged, and and all the dialogues he says to him, "This in the mari snake, idoda poison is this kind of venomous."
And also that tells that he knows that also explains something about the character, that he knows these things, right?
20 செகண்டுக்குள்ள
Yeah,
அந்த மாதிரி,
all
அந்த மாதிரி.
how it will affect the nervous system, something. All that explains
And
about the
adds,
character.
yeah.
But is that story that he says about his parents, is that a real story?
No.
It's an invented story.
It's an no. That incident has happened once in there is one program in Safari channel called Charithram Innilude, where people explain their career stories.
Okay.
Like I once way back I heard this story by an IPS officer where he was telling about a suicide of a couple in a hotel room where they put a dynamite in between them and they hugged and they had a blast. So that anecdote I had in mind. I heard it maybe 4 or 5 years back, and in this success portion I found it very useful. And what if this I can connect it like the way, and how we can express that. It's a weird kind of incident, and how the way he's explained, the making use of that fruit sherbet thing, and திரும்பி வந்தப்போ பார்த்தது இந்த மாதிரி தான், செவுத்துல வால்ல எல்லாம் இந்த மாதிரி இருந்தது. ஸோ நான் எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம் பார்த்து தான் நான் வந்திருக்கேன். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தா நான் சென்டிமெண்டல் ஆகாது. So அதெல்லாம் explain பண்றது.
So for him it's a true story. In the film, it's a real story that really happened. Yeah, and that also explains why that character is a bit of a psycho, I think. It's like, because if you see something like that, it's bound to affect you. You know? It's like, it's very hard to remain normal, I would think.
Also that how that adds is that when that character goes to the climax scene, where goes to the cliff where the climax is happening, we can't predict or expect what he might do, because he already said avarku sentiments illa, he don't have any sentiments, he will do whatever he wish to do. So adalla and the character oda unpredictability, uncertainty la add agum neniche.
So I'm going to bring this to an end by asking you, you've already mentioned Prestige, you talked about Love Today, but if I were to ask you, what are your favorite screenplays? Some of them, just
Prestige, first of all. Charlie Kaufman's script I like. Jordan Peele's script I like.
Okay.
M.T. Vasan's most of the script I like. I like Kannathil Muttamattal is my favorite script of Maniratnan sir.
Okay.
And Adugalam, Vetrimaran sir most script I like.
Okay.
Andrea Kashyap sir's my favorite movie is Ugly. And Kapoor and Son's script, I am very fascinated by the script. It's a very family drama, very emotional, intense family drama, but we can enjoy it like watching a thriller.
Yeah.
Like how Interstellar used to be. Like in the last 30 minutes, multiple things are happening here
actually,
and there.
That revelation about the mother is actually like a thriller, no? Because it's like you think it's one person, but it's actually somebody else, and it's
and also multiple dramas happening simultaneously. The father having another issue with that son, and both sons are having issues with each other, and a girlfriend's issue. So everything is happening in that 15 minutes span of time. It was very much like in Interstellar sequence, where they Cooper was in the Tesseract, and the daughter comes to the house, and she's having a rift with her brother, and she's like evaluating or analyzing the evidences she had. She's remembering things, and parallelly Cooper is having some other. Interstellar is also one of my other favorite movie. Very inspiration Interstellar actually. Kishkindaal elumbodhu Interstellar oda quantifiable connection.
You were listening to that music, right? Yeah.
That music pushed me. That inspired me, especially while writing the climax of Kishkindaal and all. This quantifiable connection of Interstellar was the major pushing force. If I had listened to some other scores, the story would have been different. Similarly in Echo also, while writing the climax, Inception, there is one track in Inception by the name 528491. That's a score when Cillian Murphy enters the father's deathbed, and they are having a conversation, very abstract conversation. I was disappointed that you tried, and showing him that his toy, and that's where that score is applied. So that was the score I listened to when I was writing the climax. So I think that score helped me hugely to structure that way. The dialogues were all minimal, very abstract there, like on point, no lengthy dialogues, couple of only one or two exchanges, then cut to the parallel sequence where Narayan and the other characters having conversation at regular rhythm. We are having a cut back and cut forth. So that rhythm and structure of that score stimulated me to structure it that way.
Right. So, how do you think music affects writing? I mean, how does it affect writing for you? Before that, let me ask you this. We talked about contrast a lot, right? So if you're writing, let's say, like a thriller scene, do you listen to light music? And if you're writing a light scene, do you listen to heavy music, something like that? Do you contrast like that, or?
No, it's not that deliberate and all. Whatever I feel like listening in that moment, I'll just listen.
So that's
to
also
that.
instinct.
Instinct.
Yeah.
Even in Yuddhan Say, I like how Mishkin sir's
I love that movie.
Yuddhan Say even எல்லா படத்துலயும் ஓனாயாட்டு யுத்தம் செய்யல மியூசிக்ல ரொம்ப அந்த பண்டோரா பாக்ஸ் மியூசிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருக்குல்ல அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப இட்ஸ் a melody, huge melody. When they are showing a very gory shot in middle of ஒரு பாடியோட abstract parts பாக்ஸ்ல பிளேஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு பார்க்ல வச்சிருக்கு அதுதான் and they are having a very melodious score there that creates a contrast and intrigue. So all those approach I'm very fascinated.
But seriously, thank you so much for sharing your time, because like I said, I thought we were going to talk about writing, but this was literally like a masterclass. So thank you for that. And I think partly when we go to watch a movie, sometimes it's good to leave behind some preconceived notions about how this might turn out to be, and your movies are a great example of that. And what actually makes me very happy is that just like with Shyam Pushkaran and other people that I love, people are responding to this. It's not like you're writing a great screenplay and then nobody's watching it. It's like you're writing a great screenplay, Dinjith's making a great movie out of it, and there are great performances. But people are also watching it and they are saying we love it, and the box office is also responding. So that is beautiful, because it's otherwise there are lots of great screenplays and they get into an art house theater and some film festival people watch it, and then then nothing happens. That's not happening here. That's brilliant, because I think only when these things go out into the mainstream will we start seeing some kind of change, right?
The thing we have to be careful about is that we shouldn't give false promise to the audience. When we release our posters or teasers or trailers, we have to be very conscious. We shouldn't be tensed about the first day collection. We can pack the trailer or teaser of Echo in such a way that it's very powerful, very adrenaline rush kind of story. We had all the kind of elements in there. If we wanted to pack it in such a way, we could have edited in that way.
And also you could have also added like dramatic music or something.
Dramatic music. So that may maybe for the first day, first show, people may come, but they wouldn't get what they expected. So we should never give false promise to the audience. We should give only we should channel or draw the right set of audience for the first show. For the first show. So after the first show, when the reviews get out, then the rest of the audience, it's already validated, so let's go and watch. So now they are applied a pre-lut in their mind, and they are coming to them, because since this is a good movie, it's such a movie. And in the reviews also, it might be rotten, no, it's a slow burn mystery thriller. It's like that. It's not following a template-ish path or something. So the rest of the audience who come later also, they are not also expecting a template-ish path, more convenient path. They are also ready to welcome something new or different or something. So that's an advantage. So never get tensed by with the marketing strategies. First they should break all the records. If we are that confident, we can go, but it's always good to play a bit safe.
Do you think have you started writing a third film?
No.
You don't know what it's going to be.
For now, I have to go home. That's my only life ambition I have now. For this 1 year, I couldn't go home. My home is in northern Kerala. I was stuck with all these works of this movie.
You're going to take a break. That's fine. But is there a bit of pressure now that, my first film, that's like unknown quantity, so nothing. But now Bahul Ramesh is a name. Does that create some kind of pressure?
No pressure at all. I'm not getting into any commitments with anyone or anybody. So impress பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு pressure இல்ல.
So you have not signed up with anybody?
No.
So your next script will also
because I'm not sure whether I can complete something or not. Since I don't have any story in my mind, I'm just discovering it along the way. No. So once I finish the writing only, even I am okay. I wrote a story.
Okay, so now I'm happy with the screenplay and kind of I can give it out.
Yeah.
Now, when you gave the script of Kishkinda and Echo to Dinjith, right? He's like, so the producer says, this is the combination I'm putting together. Did he have any changes or suggestions?
No, nothing at all. Nothing much. He was
for
happy.
both the things.
He was happy.
He didn't say anything at all.
He didn't say anything.
Okay.
Since and the producers were also very happy with the subject and all. Since again, both these have candies and within a limited budget we can pull it off.
Yeah.
So it was safe enough.
Nice. So thank you so much. And I'm going to end with one of my favorite lines from, actually I love Kapoor and Sons as well. I love that movie. And one of my favorite all-time scenes is when they visit the graveyard, when Alia Bhatt and Siddharth Malhotra, who's the writer, he is the writer, and they visit the graveyard and they say, what would you write if you die? Like, what would you want written on your tombstone? And then Siddharth says something, I don't remember the exact words, but he says, Ho sake to yaad rakhna. Like, if you can, remember me. But I'm just like, I don't think that's going to be a problem with you, because I think you're going to be remembered. Even if you, with these two screenplays, I think you've created a good buzz, and I hope it leads to more interesting things. And I really think one of the things that's keeping Malayalam cinema so fresh and alive is this separation between writer and director. Because otherwise, after 2 films, you begin to slightly run out of things, like what to do.
That's one thing I used to observe. Like when filmmakers are done with the shoot and working on the post-production, instead of fully focusing on post-production, simultaneously they are thinking about, okay, after the release, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
So while the post-production is going on, they might be working on another script or pitching it to someone else.
Yeah.
So that thing always happened.
So it happens here also? Okay.
So for the first film only, people are already fully focused onto that one goal. Immediately after first film, even during the post production of the first film itself, people are worried about what am I going to do next and all. So that if people are able to take a detachment or a break from that and focus on that one task at hand,
that's
right then. But can't blame them also. It's also about job security, financial
security,
business, and all.
So many things that kind of there. So anyway, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
டார்லிங் சோலார் 20,500 முன்பணத்தில் இப்பொழுது சோலார் மூலம் இலவச மின்சாரம்.
MCR Pure Cotton Club, formals and casual shirts.
No compromise. உங்க சைடுலயும் எங்க சைடுலயும். It's a GT promise.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.